everyone, welcome. My name is Sonali. Thank you all for being here. I'll be serving as the moderator for tonight's panel discussion, Success, Sisterhood, and Self, Redefined. Woo! Thank you everyone for being here. A quick few shout outs. We are doing this in celebration of Women's History Month. Our special guest here tonight is Catherine, our own. Catherine, say hi to everybody. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. Thank you. Catherine is a very talented artist, sculptress. She's available to create sketches for you. She did this for me a couple months ago. I never had anything like this done for me before, and now here we are. So she can do this for you also if you want. If you could also just sell her $20 because art is not crepe, right? Also another shout out, Janet and I are wearing the same shoes. The designer her name is Robin Schneider. Her company is called Beauty Souls. These are very comfortable heels. We are both actors and actresses and do crepe promotions and whatnot. I introduced Robin to Janet. She sent us the same shoes and we happen to be wearing the same shoes. So yeah. And then also my scarf is a gift from Shirley. Where's Shirley? Where are you? Okay. Everyone, that's Shirley from Chicago. She came to LA just for this event a couple hours ago. I was a guest on her podcast, and then she gifted me the scarf, which was a very nice surprise. It was my favorite color, so thank you, Shirley. And so, yeah, let's get this started. We are all women, the three of us, who do not have kids. And we're all comfortable talking about why we are the way we are. How to say it? We are here to present a different perspective on womanhood. We're not bashing motherhood of your return by any means. My job here is to guide the conversation, ask a few questions to our panelists. I'll join in on the conversation as well, and then we'll open the floor to questions from our wonderful audience. So with that said, let's see our panelists. Janet? Yeah, so are you gonna ask me a question? Or Jack? No, just introduce yourself, all you do. So my name is Janet Lopez, and I met a lot of you already, but for those that don't know me, I'm an actress. And I guess I should start from the beginning. When I was a kid, I saw a lot of things that adults were doing, and I've experienced a lot of things that kids should not experience. And I thought to myself, why do people bring kids into this world as a child? And I said, I don't want to bring another kid to suffer like I'm suffering right now, or to suffer as much as other kids are suffering, as I was seeing other peers of mine that were kids also suffering. And so I decided at that time, as a child, that I was not gonna have kids. And everyone would tell me as I was growing up that I was gonna change my mind one day. Oh, you're just a kid, you'll change your mind when you grow up and you'll realize you want kids. As I was growing up, that never happened. And yeah, so I thought maybe when I meet somebody, I would want kids. That just never happened for me. I did meet people and I did date. I just never wanted kids. That desire has not come back. I recently started thinking about it because as you get older, right? You go through, you're becoming 20s. Now you're like, oh, now I'm 25. You start thinking, well, do I not really want kids? Because people keep saying you have a clock and all this stuff. But yeah, I'll speak more on that. But as of now, I just have not. I'm still at the no. But anyways, as an actress, so I'm an actor. I never had kids. I had a foster child. My sister got sick when I was around 19, going to 20. And my sister had a child when she was a teenager. She was very young. She should have never had a kid, but she had a kid, and she got really sick. And when she got sick, the social worker asked me if I wanted to foster a child because they preferred giving it to a family member. At that point, I became a mother. And I was a mother as a foster mom, and they gave me legal custody over my nephew. And I was a single mother. It was really hard. I had to give up school. I had to give up everything, my career, everything you can imagine, just for that kid, for my nephew, and I became a mommy. And during that time, I realized how hard it really is you dedicate your whole life to that child. And so for me, I already fulfilled my duty as a mother during that time frame. And although he's not my biological kid, he's still my son at heart. And so, yeah, anyways, that's a little bit about me. It's a little personal, about maybe a lot of you don't even know about that part. But I don't want to take the mic too long. So Sharon could share her story.
Thank you, Janet. So I'm Sharon Jagavisi, and I am a keynote speaker. I'm also the LA host of Mic Drop Club, which is a training, public speaking training for women who want to be keynote speakers. And my story is different than Sonali's and Janet's. I always wanted to have children. When I was in my 20s, I actually was a behavioral therapist for kids with autism. And even then, I was kicked, I was spit at, I was hit, by little kids who had autism. And I still wanted to have kids. I knew it in my heart. And so I met a man that I married, and during that marriage, I had a miscarriage. And soon after the miscarriage, that miscarriage really, it broke my heart so deeply, because I saw myself as someone that would have a lot of kids. And when it didn't happen, the doctor was like, often after a miscarriage, some women will get pregnant, and it didn't happen. But in hindsight, I know it was the right thing. I had stepkids, I had stepdaughters in that marriage, and in past life, I've been an after-school program director. I have taught dance. I directed kids. So I spend so much time around kids. I say that I have thousands of kids. They're all my kids, and I treat them that way. And so even though I don't have children, it wasn't my choice. Now, as a divorced menopausal woman, I'm like, heck yeah! I have been traveling around the world. I've been to Costa Rica 3 times. I've gone to Greece. I've gone to Australia. I've gone to Fiji. I've surfed. I swam with manta rays and sharks. So I have another perspective of being child-free, and it's a fun one. Yeah, good.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Janet. As for my backstory, I'm also in the entertainment business like Janet, acting, hosting, stand-up comedy. I've done reality TV. I grew up dancing. This was back in New Jersey, where I was born and raised. My parents are from India, so that makes me Indian American, which is why I look the way I look. My fashion sense is also Indian American, hence my jewelry and whatnot are. This restaurant is Indian American. I've known the owner for 2 years. Cheers to loyalty. I mentioned dancing. A dancer used to have a strict body. And I also learned growing up, I have a very low pain tolerance. I was 19 when my cousin, his mom is my dad's sister, when my cousin had her baby shower, and I had an epiphany, really. I'm like, it's not for me. I never want to have kids. Just, here in entertainment, my latest project, the biggest project I've been on is a show called Virgins. It's still streaming on Hulu, 6 episodes. Check it out. I'm a linear girl. I actually said on there that I don't have a biological clock. I have a beautiful watch, though. I was 37 when I filmed the show. I'm 39 years young now. And then I also coined the term Botox over babies. That was my idea, and I've had it for years. I'm just glad to finally make it happen. On a final note for now, so I worked in corporate Manhattan for 10 years before I came to LA for entertainment. When I was 23, I was part of a women's brunch, all Indian career women. I was 23, the youngest one, never married, no kids, still the case. For 1 hour, I heard all these women talk about the challenges of motherhood. For 1 hour, I heard them, they wanted to dump their kids, and I'm like, it scared me. It really did. So that was a very traumatic experience. And speaking of trauma, just like Jenny, I also be using trauma, which I will get into here. But parenthood isn't easy from what I've seen, whether it's emotionally, financially, or physically, from a woman's perspective. And then, speaking of pain, I have a medical condition called fibromyalgia, which is chronic muscle and joint pain. Lady Gaga has it. Morgan Freeman has it. And so I was diagnosed with that when I was 30 years young. And so that too was another sign from the universe for me that conventional pregnancy wasn't for me. It really wasn't. 2 years ago,
I had to check myself into the ER. I thought I had to get an appendicitis. I really did. I was scared. And let me tell you, and I speak for all women and things when I say this, us women go through hell. Every month we have a visitor called Aunt Flo, right? They did CAT scans and ER scans and ultrasounds and everything came at the ER. I was there overnight. They told me I had 14 uterine fibroids, which are benign tumors which were in a woman's uterus during childbearing years. They told me to see my OBGYN. So I already had that on the books because I had started having very painful periods over the years. They told me the largest fibroid may have been cancerous, and then I was referred to a gynecological oncologist. I got a biopsy done. It turned out to be benign, but I still decided to have my entire uterus removed in a medical procedure called a hysterectomy, because I always knew I didn't want to have kids. The alternative was to have a myomectomy, which is just getting fibroids removed. But here's the thing with fibroids, they grow back. And I didn't want to go through the whole cancer scare or whatever 5 to 10 years later from now. So yeah, that's my story. So hence my shirt, what I'm wearing, no uterus, no problem. All the women out there, Indian, non-Indian, and whatnot, like those who have kids, kudos to you. Really, I could never even sustain the pain for 9 months of pregnancy. So, but yeah, so yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Janet, it's your choice. So I talked about fibromyalgia, which is so I decided not to have kids by choice, but then I also had the whole fibromyalgia medication. Janet, do I go into it?
Yeah, so I don't know, is this on? Yes, we can hear me already. Okay. So I found out, it's funny because I was taking the class in biology and I was learning about Rh negative, and I'm Rh negative. And so as it turns out, the doctor told me that I'm not compatible with people that are positive, Rh positive, and 98 or 99% of the population is Rh positive, and I'm negative. So I'm a small percentage of population that is Rh negative. That's not really a problem if you're a man and you're negative, but it is a problem if you're a female because you're the one carrying the baby. And if you mate with someone who is positive and you're negative like me, your body will think that your baby is a foreigner, like a foreign, like bacteria or like a virus. And so your body will attack your baby and you would end up getting a miscarriage because your body doesn't recognize it as part of you as a human. However, if I were to mate with someone that was also negative, that would not be a problem. We're compatible 100%. Naturally, by nature, my body would be like, yes, that's a negative like me. Let's have a baby, and it won't attack the baby. So every boyfriend I've had, not that I've had that many, no judgment, wife of positive, Rh positive, and so the baby could come out. He would just get a miscarriage. You would get a miscarriage, or the baby would come out anemic, or just so many problems. So definitely have to see if you're compatible with that person, if you're a negative person. And then there is a vaccine that came out where they tried that. However, if a woman had a miscarriage previously, that vaccine may not work, and so that you may just end up having miscarriage after miscarriage. So that's something that I found out, and I was thinking, wow, where are my negatives? And so apparently they're in Spain and Basque or Morocco. So maybe 90 Day Fiancé is less. Never know, just kidding.
It is so difficult to be a woman, really. Like, and look, I actually call myself a freak because I'm publicly known for full at Wendy Card, and I'm proud. And then now I'm public sharing that I had an hysterectomy. But the fear was, because even like, let's say if I did actively date, like my fear was I didn't want to get accidentally pregnant. I had birth control pills, I gained weight, I broke out on my face. What do men just do? They just put on comic, right? From what I know. Am I wrong here, ladies? Right? But yeah, anyway, so thank you for sharing. I know it's not easy to talk about some people here small, talk on stage. My next question is, what's your number one priority right now? What are your highest priorities? Like for me, I just Every day I just choose to be happy. I moved to LA 8.5 years ago to human pursuit of happiness, the great weather, and then came my business. Ladies?
So my priorities are supporting women's voices and women's stories. Like right now for Women's History Month, I am spotlighting all the women in Mic Drop Club each day and sharing a little bit about their work, a little about what they're offering to the world. And that's my main priority. Personally, my priority is dancing. I am a salsa addict. And so,
Wow.
yeah, Natalia, my mother, fellow salsa addict. Salsa dancing and meditation and walks on the beach are my personal priorities right now because they give me joy, they relax me, they make me feel like I can handle anything. And so finding those things that give you joy and help you feel relaxed and help you feel at home in your body, I would say are the most important things to seek for yourself. And then I want to shout out, I'm going to say it many times, Mic Drop Club is in the house tonight.
Yes,
These ladies showed up. Having a community of women that you surround yourself with and women that are passionate about sharing their stories, that too is a priority of mine. And if you want to join a women's community, come find me.
And I also wanted to say about Mic Drop Club, it's a genuine group of women who support one another and respect one another, because I had been a part of other women's groups both here in LA and in Manhattan, and I had a negative experience with them. So I'm really grateful that Lita Abella, who is not here tonight, Lita recruited me into Mic Drop Club and she introduced us and now we are doing this, and I'm really grateful that half our attendees here tonight are from Mic Drop Club, so thank you, ladies. And we have a few men in the audience as well. Janet, what are your priorities right now? What kind of life are you building?
So I have two passions in life, and that is help parents, science, and the other is athlete. And when it comes to healthcare, I've always liked helping. So not just like caring for people in the healthcare industry, but also caring for people like the homeless population. And so I do lead groups out into the wilderness. No, I'm just kidding. Into the streets and to help the homeless population. I feel like they're forgotten, and everybody deserves basic needs, which is food and water, right? And so that's a priority. And the healthcare industry, I was a medical assistant as well, and now I'm focusing on science. And so that's what I'm doing, more like scientists, study different bacteria, microorganisms, and stuff like that. It's kind of the person behind the scenes, behind the doctor. But ultimately, my passion in life is to give love others and strangers. I think it's free. Being kind is free. And it's the one thing that all of us can give, and we don't need money for that.
I agree. Seeing an Indian American, we are givers by nature, and I also believe in karma. What goes around comes around, and that's also an American concept, the golden rule. And we are the golden California. Be nice, be kind. Really, it doesn't, because it's gonna come back to you. You know what you do. Oh, the next question. What has been the most rewarding part in life for yourself? Rewarding or disappointing, if you feel comfortable sharing.
Oh my God, so many things. So I was in a car accident one time, and I was in a 9-to-5 job at the time being. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I've never been on a plane before. And that's like crazy. I'm almost dead, and I never even gone on a plane. So that's the day that I decided to create a bucket list. And then my bucket list was to get on the plane. I think one of the most rewarding things in life is to realize there's more out there than the 9-to-5 job. Because sometimes we get stuck in that mentality. I gotta pay bills, I gotta pay bills. And we forget about self-care, self-love, and just like, us. And so this was during the time I was taking care of my child, foster kid. But I decided to go ahead and do the bucket list, and the first time I got on a plane was the first time I jumped out of a plane.
You are so brave. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So that, yeah, I just like, I felt a jolt of lightning when you said that. For me, like I have traveled, and travel is such an important aspect of my life and my lifestyle. When I traveled, I've taken surf lessons. I finally, after 3 years, I will not surf in California because the water's too cold.
Don't get any ears.
Wear a wetsuit. You have to wear a wetsuit. I've done it.
So now I just traveled to Costa Rica and take surf lessons with the hot younger Costa Rican men there. And finally, after 3 years of taking lessons, I caught 2 waves all by myself. And I can still remember as I was riding the wave, I was riding the wave, and I can hear like the crackle of the surfboard skidding along the wave. And those kinds of peak experiences are what are so important. And no matter where I go, whether it's Costa Rica or Greece, like I'm always meeting people, I'm always hearing new languages, I'm always having new experiences, and all of them are people that have stories. So I want to hear their stories. I want to share their stories with other people. So I would say that's where my furries and like where I'm living my best life.
Is that nice? You both are so brave. I had never jumped out of an airplane or gone surfing. I actually don't know how to swim. That's my adult confession. So I was 30 years young when I moved to California, LA, for the entertainment business. Before that, I used to work in corporate Manhattan. Let me tell you, everyone, I was miserable in Manhattan. I'm not a cubicle girl. Business school doesn't teach you how to be happy. They teach you how to make money, which is important. But I think happiness is a lot more important. I had a quarter-life crisis. I was diagnosed with depression. And that's when I realized for the first time I was unhappy and I was unfulfilled and unsatisfied back in New York. So I got my bonus and then I resigned. And then I bought a one-way ticket to California, and it's been 8.5 years. I'm decided to be working my dream career. It's not easy, entertainment's on it, or even like public speaking, right? You get rejected a lot. And O meets next opportunity. But for me, passion keeps me going. Right. I had zero passion back in New York. Confucius has a very famous saying, work a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I think everybody should do what they love. You'll live once. Ladies, how do you feel your friendships, relationships, and connections have changed over time? Especially as, like, I know for me, a lot of my contemporaries, especially within the Indian community back in New Jersey, New York, they're all married kids, or maybe they're divorced kids. So, I'd have to stay distance myself from them because I have nothing in common with them anymore. And I'm also on the other side of the country. Yeah, but that's my experience. How about the two of you?
I would say for me, a lot of people in my age group are either like helping their kids graduate or helping their kids get into college. So in terms of lifestyle, there isn't a lot of similarity. But my divorce happened during the pandemic, so I was alone a lot. I just spend, it's character building. Like I actually don't want the it's very character building. I was my best friend. I entertained myself, and I had to continue to reach out to my friend. It's like, my friend Tom is here. If you've been friends, like I call him a lot during that time. And so it's like I really took the responsibility instead of sitting back and like feeling sad that my friends are busy. I became the host of my drum club, and I would reach out to people. I had a tragedy in my family at the end of last year, towards the end of last year, and I even posted to our Mic Drop Club community, like, I've gone through this tragedy. I can't really take the lead on some of these projects. And some of those women were like, what do you need? And I said, I need connection. So I reached out to Jen during that time. So I really took responsibility, and my friendships that are old and new, like I sought them out. And I didn't let myself go to the place of like, no one's calling me. It didn't matter. I polled other people and I made plans with other people?
So for me, I am very welcoming to anyone that comes. But as time went by, I realized that some people just take, and then it's no longer an actual friendship. It's more like one-sided. And so then I realized I need to have boundaries now because it's no longer healthy for me to be in this friendship. It's no longer a friendship. So I started to have boundaries for the first time in a very long time, that I started realizing I need to end this relationship, or I need to set a boundary, and if they can't meet that boundary and it's not a two-way friendship,
Should be mutual with that.
then I need to let it go. And sometimes it's hard to let go of someone that you know for a long time. However, it's not mentally good. So I am still loving, caring, and welcoming. However, if I start noticing that the friendship is not real friendship, I do let go of that friendship, and I'm a little bit more forward about it. I love my friendships. I've had friends for a long time. They are very supportive. And also, I think that and I've always been trying to be the best friend that I could be for them as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I go, anyone can do that, right? It's like if we have a real friendship, we can give part of us. And even if we're busy, we're gonna contribute to that friendship in one way or another, if it's a real friendship.
I don't like to burn, I don't like to burn bridges at all. I hate contention, but I've learned the hard way to cut ties with some popes, and especially haters and critics. Haters stands for, are you ready everyone? Having anger towards everyone reaching success. And critics are lousy, lazy losers who make themselves feel better by putting other people down. They are, and my commercial agent Zodi is here tonight. So thank you, Zoe, for being here. Zoe's a fellow Aquarian like me. Our birthdays are a week apart. Zoe, you taught me the term jelly beans, which is a nicer way of saying that some people out there can be jealous. It's a word that starts with B and rhyming pages. So yeah, I learned the hard way to just cut ties with, and distance myself from negative people. We met in July last year. I spent Thanksgiving and Christmas with Janice's family. Otherwise, I would have been alone. And then I'm just putting that out there to show what a giver Janet is, and that also like LA can be very isolating and lonely, and she really is a giver. And otherwise I would have been alone. So thank you for that. So to your point, Sharon, about the people community, I'm really grateful to uccess, and it brought me into my truck. What personal accomplishment are you most proud of? So that's. Well, you already shared what you do professionally. What personal accomplishment are you? What are you most proud of, first one?
I don't know if this is common, but for my family, I was raised in a traditional Mexican family, and we're kind of like traditional. It's more like the mom stays home and takes care of the kids. And however, my mother ended up being an entrepreneur, and my dad was an entrepreneur. Eventually, my mom became one. But so I never thought about college growing up. I just thought I'm gonna either be a mom or work. I didn't want to be a mom, so I just worked. So for me, going to college and getting an education, which I thought was far-fetched, I thought that was wealthy people do that, not us. So for me, it was never like told. And, a lot of times they're like, you got to go to college. That was not in my house. And so for me to go to college, get a degree, I have 3 degrees. So to have a degree, to me, that was a huge accomplishment. It was something that I never knew I can do. That it was even, I didn't, like I said, I thought wealthy people do that. Apparently, if you're poor, you could go to college, you guys. You'll qualify for for FAFSA. Anyway, just in case somebody's out there thinking they can. But yeah, so for me, it's the degree, getting that degree. It's something that I accomplished on myself, going there and exams every day. And so, yeah, that's definitely an accomplishment in itself. And everyone who has a degree here, shout out to you, Elizabeth, and all of you guys. Yes, congratulations.
I did go to college. I graduated, and I say that I have an MBA in the School of Hard Knocks. Real world experience. Sharon?
So my favorite personal accomplishment, maybe might not sound like an accomplishment, but I am a phenomenal salsa dancer. When I go out salsa dancing, like all the leads are asking me to dance, and they're spinning me, and they're dipping.
Are the leads men?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
And I'm like sweating, and I'm laughing, and I'm having so much fun, and it's so much nourishment for myself. And it's not to get anything, it's not to get an award, it's not to get paid, it's just pure enjoyment. And the other thing I want to say about this is women are taught to be humble. And I'm now at a point where I want to encourage women to brag more. And I would encourage all of you to brag to someone tonight. So just like I'm bragging, like, it's kind of silly and pointless. Who cares that I'm great at salsa dancing? But I still get to brag about it.
Yes.
Like when I go out salsa dancing, like people are watching me, and it's just the joy of my life. So I'm a really incredible salsa dancer, and that's what I'm most proud of personally.
I grew up dancing, and I gotten a lot of hate mail out there in the world for still being a virgin at my age. But I say this. Everybody's a virgin until some point in life. And I also grew up dancing, and how you dance indicates how you make love. So there, take that, haters. Ladies, are you open to maybe adoption or surrogacy?
So I did foster my nephew, and although I didn't want to bring a child into the turf, I feel that there's kids out there that need a mommy. And why not me? Why not be their mommy? So yes, I have been considering adoption or fostering kids. However, I'm kind of waiting for the right time, because every time I'm about to do it, something in life happens and my family members need me, and I become, their caregiver or something. And so I was going to do it this year, and something happened. So I'm kind of waiting for that time. It just might be next year. God has his timing. People have their timing. But yes, I do want to adopt or foster eventually. Maybe that's not in the cards for me, but it is something that I desire. I do want to help a child out there. I feel like a lot of them end up in a foster care system that is not. They end up with parents that don't love them. And I want to just pour my love into those children. Like, let's get them, show them there's like a different type of mom or a different person that can love them.
And the child fell from the sky and landed in front of me, I would take care of that child. I'm of a certain age now where I wouldn't seek it out. But I remember once, this was a long time ago, I was at the beach and I saw a father shaking his child. And I, in my bikini, long blonde hair, stormed over there. I was ready to stop this guy and take this child. So when there is a child in my presence, if there was a child here tonight, I would be ignoring all of you and hanging out with the child.
On one child. No hard feelings.
I love kids so much. If there's ever a child in your room, I'm hanging out with that thing. So it's I'm not going to seek it out. I'm not going to seek it out. But anytime there's a child in the room, I immediately feel protective, and I want to play with that child.
For me, I don't know if adoption or surrogacy is in the cards for me. What I do know for sure is I would never pursue any kind of parenthood alone. Yeah. It's a job of its own from what I've seen and other people. And it's not easy. Even for me, growing up, my dad was the breadwinner, career parents. to this day, I have it ringing in my head. My dad paid $5,000 for braces, $500 for my first car, $50,000 for college, $5,000 for my suit to scene.
Yeah.
Kids are not cheap, right? Financially. And so yeah, we'll see what happens. Time will tell. Anything can happen. I've learned that the hard way. This is America, and then. Oh. I have one last question for our panel before we open the floor for Q&A for my audience. Is there any closing, departing piece of advice or wisdom you want to impart to our audience here tonight? Whatever you filmed, I want to post this online. Any wisdom, any resource, Michelle? So,
I would say, I am someone who lives in my body. I am an Alexander technique teacher. I'm a dancer. I'm a mover. I would encourage anybody to spend more time and listening to their body. You try to figure everything out in your head and with your thoughts, and spending some time listening to your body and letting go of all that armor of tension to try and look good. Let go of your jaw, let go of your shoulders, and spend some time just listening to your body instead of all of those thoughts that are constantly putting pressure on you. That would be my advice.
So my advice is to the mothers out there that are wonderful and take care of the kids. You guys are amazing. But one thing is that my mom, she dedicated all her life taking care of other people. And even after she took care of us, she took care of her grandkids, and the list goes on. And I just want to say, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself too, because you're taking care of the kids, you're taking care of everybody else. But who's taking care of you? And if you're not taking care of yourself, who's going to take care of you? So make sure that you're taking care of yourself too, that you're taking the time and this, for your mental health, for your physical health. And one thing I noticed, I was studying PA school, by the way, but COVID and came out. All the diseases and disorders, the majority of them, were due to lack of exercise. And a lot of times when you're taking care of your kids, you don't exercise. And it was health, diet, exercise, and stress. It was all related. So just make sure that you remember that. Take care of yourself. And then the other thing is, for me, as myself, I don't have kids, as you already know. But I like to have
applicable to all of us.
Right?
Daughters.
I love meditating. For me, it's prayer. For everybody who has different ways of meditating. And for me, it's wonderful just to get away from everything. Find a room that's quiet and peaceful and just meditate. Meditate on just like she said, your body, but your life. And just really take that time of peace, having a moment's peace, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour. You can meditate by singing, crying, whatever. I highly suggest it. It's very helpful and it grounds you very time.
For me, I grew up with two cultures. At home, the Indian culture, and then in school, in the outside world, the American culture. And to this day, I have both cultures coming at me. I pick and choose from each world what I like and don't like, and that's how I have navigated life. I just want to put out there that those, for me, it's always the choice. I really never wanted to get tremendously pregnant. I'm sure there's other women out there who are like that, and I just want to put out there that there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Just own it. The pressure on women, especially of other cultures, growing up in America, it is insane and inhumane. To get married by a certain time and to have kids by a certain time, it's just let us be.
Listen, guys,
The woman's body, woman's choice. And I'm probably that from somewhere else at the universe, but it's the truth. I think it's better to be a woman who intentionally decided not to have kids versus be a woman of any culture who has a child or even a man and then regret it. I think that's worse. And those are the real stuff. So yeah, that's just whatever it is in your life. Right? I'm publicly known to still have my B card in my 30s. Just own it. Don't feel ashamed of it, because be yourself. Be real. That's what I would have to say.
Yeah, I think it's really sad. I just want to add, a lot of times I've been asked since I was a teenager, when are you gonna get married? Come on.
I miss
It's
you.
funny, when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids? It's well, you can't choose when your partner's gonna show up. I mean, if you could, then who would have been AIs. No, I'm just kidding. Where's my AI partner? But yeah, so it's really sad that all the pressure's on the woman. It seems like nowadays, and
I know so many women of any culture who get married by a certain age just for the biological clock, but then they're unhappy. Or maybe they get divorced. There's nothing wrong with that, but like it's a lot to go through. One's like emotionally, financially. So yeah, just do what you have to do. I've been in LA for 8 years now. I've had a car for 5 years. My car was my kid, and I sold it. So that tells you about me. I'm so in New York very hard. I know how to survive without a car, even here in LA. So yeah. You mentioned the COVID pandemic. During my experience during COVID, I binge watched a lot of TV shows. One of them was The Cosby Show. There's an episode where the mom, she's a lawyer. She's trying to take a nap on her couch. They have 5 kids. All her kids keep interrupting her with something while she's trying to nap. And it's a comedy scene, but you can see the frustration on her face. I'm a nap addict. Okay, I like my naps. BDC was important. I can't imagine in her shoes. So yeah, again, kudos to all the moms. And like I said, even if you're a non-mom for whatever reason, there's nothing wrong with that. Society needs to stop judging. Anybody else? Okay, well with that, I'd like to end this. It's called a wrap. Thank you to Sharon and Janet for being a part of this. Thank you to our audience members for supporting us and showing up in person. It means a lot. Stick around, Wine and Dine Network, Mix and Mingle, and get your sketch done by Catherine. So once in a time opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.